Welcome, bitches. Okay, we're diving into sleep stuff today. Listen, I'm going to be telling you like it is. I mean, that's the only way you like it, right? You like it rough, dirty, and raw. And that's what I'm here to deliver. And sleep is one of those topics that I'm talking about often with my clients. We're often counseling them on how to improve their sleep and get better quality sleep. This is something that I worked on pretty heavily, probably about 2017, 2016. I read the Sleep Smarter book by Sean Stevenson. So a lot of the tips in today's episode are going to reflect a lot of the stuff in that book because I've read it and reread it multiple times. But if you are burning the candle at both ends, you're waking up exhausted, or you think that sleep is not important, you need to tune in because you could be leaving some massive results when it comes to your physique on the table. Now, of course, good quality sleep is imperative for functioning as a human. But I know that you care much more about your results sometimes than humaning, right? Sometimes you're just like a zombie walking through life. So if I can at least get you to work on your sleep because you know it is going to improve your body goals, well, the secret perk to that is that you're going to be a more effective human. So in today's podcast, I'm going to talk about the role of sleep as a pillar of your health. We are going to talk about understanding the sleep cycles, which I know can be a snore fest and does not sound incredibly exciting, but it's great that you at least have an awareness around it so you know why sleep is important. We're also going to talk about how sleep supports muscle growth, recovery, and how it is essential for those who weight train. Very, very important. We're going to give you a list of tips for better sleep. This is probably going to be a bulk of the podcast. I'm also going to tell you what not to do and some things that are out there that we think we should be doing or taking certain supplements that I want you to avoid or at least reconsider. And then last but not least, I have a freebie download for you. I'm going to talk about a lot of resources and tools and tips that I use. And I created a very cutesy boss bitch tips checklist for you. There'll be links in there too, so everything is quick for you to access, but you will want to stay tuned so you can grab that link, get your download, and get your sleep on, sister. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and dive in. So, the reason why sleep is so important for women who weight train is because your muscles do not grow when you're in the gym. Okay, you get in the gym, you train hard, you have an intense leg day, intense glute day, and you think all the magic is happening there because your legs feel like they're pumped up, they're burning, they're sore, whatever the case may be during your training makes us think that that's where the magic happens. Well, that is where we are actually breaking down the muscle tissue, right? Weight training, resistance training in general is where you are creating those microscopic tears in your muscles. And where the magic happens is when you go, what I used to tell my kids when they were little, memes. You go memes, okay? You go night-night. And you sleep your pretty little ass into some muscle gains, okay? It happens when you are sleeping. Most specifically, it happens when you are in the deep sleep stages, which we are going to talk about here in just a second. That is going to aid in your strength gains and also reshaping your physique. Sleep is going to help regulate your hormones, which is incredibly important. And we oftentimes forget about that, right? Because hormones are those things you just can't see, right? So they're not really top of mind, but it is something that is a foundation for your success and your results when it comes to body change and body transformation. And honestly, your health in general. So with good quality sleep, you are going to regulate your hormones, okay? And the hormones specifically that are affected are going to be those that are related to your appetite and to your metabolism. Super important when you are on a transformative journey or you prioritize your health in any way, shape, or form. Another thing that is helped with good quality sleep is your cognitive function. So your brain, how you function, and your focus. So this is important during your workouts because if you're just kind of going through the motions with your workouts because you aren't getting quality sleep, then it's kind of this perpetual cycle of just, you're not really an effective person when it comes to weight training, okay? You're not getting quality sleep, so your training sessions are shit, and you're just not going to reap the benefits of all of the work that you're doing in the gym if the foundation of your house is built on quicksand, aka shitty sleep, okay? So let's go ahead and dive in and talk about sleep cycles. I know those thrilling nightly episodes where your body takes on a whole roller coaster of slumber. That is your sleep cycles. Okay. So I want you to just kind of like imagine yourself in bed, right? You're ready for your nightly sleepy time adventures, and your body is going to flip a switch into two main sleep modes. You have REM or REM, which is an acronym for rapid eye movement. And then you have non-REM, okay, non-rapid eye movement sleep. So you have these two main sleep modes. Now, let's get real. We'll break down these sleep stages a little bit more. Okay, so your non-REM sleep has 3 stages. Okay, stage 1, I know you all have been here. It is that funky, weird, I'm not quite asleep, I'm not quite awake. You can kind of hear things going on in the background. You're basically playing hide and seek with your consciousness, for a lack of better explanation. And your muscles kind of like, they take like a coffee break, right? That is stage 1. Now, stage 2 is when you're officially starting to zone out, right? Your body temperature starts to drop, your heart rate chills out a little bit, and your brain is on like vacay mode, right? That is stage 2 of your non-REM sleep. Then you move over to stage 3. Welcome to the magic, okay? This is that deep, slow wave sleep, and that is where the magic happens. Your blood pressure slows down, your breathing slows down, and it's harder to wake you up than it is if you were in stage 1 or stage 2. So those are your non-REM sleep cycles. Now, moving on to your rapid eye movement or your REM sleep, this is the dream stage, folks. This is where your brain decides it's showtime. It goes into hyperdrive, right? This is where you're basically as awake as like a squirrel on like some pre-workout, but your body is like, okay, we're going to hit pause on those wild dreams and temporarily paralyze your muscles, right? Like your brain's going, but your body is in comatose mode, all right? REM sleep isn't just for your dreams, it's responsible for consolidating your memories. So this is where you have the ability to store your emotions, sort out your emotions, your memories, and possibly spark your next great idea, right? This is where the magic happens. Now, this whole sleep cycle thing isn't a straightforward approach, right? It's not a straightforward journey. It's like an endless loop. So you kind of like loop-de-loop through the night. And you can bet that you're going to be in non-REM sleep stage 1, and then non-REM stage 2, stage 3, and then you're going to hit the grand finale of the REM show, right? The dreaming. And just when you think you're done, that's not how it ends. You go back to stage 2 and you rinse and repeat. So there is this wave of the depth and the quality of your sleep throughout the evening. It's just not solid in one kind of stage. You're sort of floating throughout them. Okay. Now you're probably wondering, why does this fucking matter? Why do I care? Well, your deep NREM sleep, so stage 3, right? This is your body's repair shop. Your body's going to the body shop, okay? And this is where your muscles and all the repair from your training are happening, right? And honestly, all of the repair from just your day, but most specifically because of this podcast, and you know why you be here, is because this is where your muscles are making magic. So REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, that is your brain's playground. That's where your dreams happen, you sharpen your memory, your creative juices are flowing. And then non-REM sleep, the stage 3 sleep, is where you want to hang out for recovery and growth for training. So if you're wanting to hack your sleep, you've got to master the art of cruising through these cycles like a pro, which I know is not like you can just go in there and like program that shit like you can like an app or your Instapot. Like you have to strategically set yourself up for success with this. And we're going to talk about that. I'm going to give you all the tips. But things like waking up every hour or having a very erratic sleep schedule can ruin your sleep quality, and it's going to have you feeling like a zombie. And we don't want that. We don't want that for your body goals, and we don't want that for you as a human, okay? So I know that the sleep cycles may sound like a snooze fest, pun intended, but understanding and optimizing them is truly the key for your better sleep and also the benefits that are going to come with it. So let's dive into some tips here to improve your sleep, bitches. Are you ready? Are you ready? Now, a lot of these tips are from, again, Sleep Smarter, but I also have my own little tools and tips in here as well. So stay tuned because I'll have that freebie download for you. Okay, now, the first thing we're going to cover is your sleep schedule consistency. So, aligning your sleep and your wake times consistently. This is important, especially on the weekends. I cannot explain enough in this podcast. This is supposed to be a short one, but I'm so passionate about the topic of sleep, it's probably going to be an hour. On the weekends, you have to respect that internal clock, because if you are varying your bedtimes on the weekdays and the weekends, and there's huge gaps of differences in between your wake and sleep times, you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer when it comes time to be, waking up early on Monday because you really screwed around with your sleep schedules on the weekend. Now, I know that a lot of people live in this cycle of not getting much sleep during the week, and then they try to catch up and sleeping in over the weekend. This is really, really terrible for your circadian rhythm, which is just like your natural waking and sleep cycles. So I urge you to try to recalibrate that a little bit. Okay. Now, one of my tips for this is if you have an iPhone, good job. No offense, Android users, and Android might even have this function as well. I'm sure I'll get some DMs about that. But Apple has a sleep schedule function. Now, it is in the Health app, but that is installed on your iPhone as a default, at least as at the time of this recording, okay? So if you go into the Health app on your Apple phone, you can set up a sleep schedule, okay? You can also set up a sleep focus. I use air quotes. It's called sleep focus, which is very similar to the do not disturb function on your phone, which just doesn't allow certain notifications and pings and buzzes to come through. So your phone starts to tell you like, bitch, it's time for night. It's time for mimis. Okay. Now, in the Health app, you can also create a sleep goal and a wind down warning, which also gives you some reminders. Now, I love this function because it will allow you to play around with a little dial, and it shows you how many hours of sleep ideally you can like adjust it for. And then the warning reminders will give you a heads up. And I believe you can adjust these depending on how soon before bedtime you want these reminders. It'll say like sleep schedule is approaching, 15-minute wind down or something like that. But essentially it gives you these little reminders and warnings. And I particularly love this function because it's like barking at me to power down my life and get my ass into bed. Okay. So that is one great way to establish a sleep schedule. Now, if you are really, really struggling with getting some consistency there, I really want you to try to keep your bedtime within the same 30 minutes every night. I know that might be a challenge, but this is going to be a game freaking changer for your results. So the sleep schedule paired with all these other things I'm going to tell you, trust me when I say you are going to feel like a new human if you take even half of the tips here and start implementing if you're not already doing them. Okay. So getting on a consistent sleep schedule, super important. All right. Now you have your sleep schedule set up. You're going to move into creating an optimal sleep environment. Now, there are some controversial things in here, and that's okay because I'm a controversial kind of biatch. But the first thing I have to say, and listen when I tell you, it's going to be a challenge, but your room should be for 3 things: sleeping, relaxing, and getting your freaky deaky spicy time on. Okay. So this means no TV and no working from your bed. When you walk into your room, you should be ready to sleep. You should be ready to relax. You should be ready to get your freak on for some spicy time, right? We want your room to trigger you into that mode of relaxation, recovery, or freaky deaky time, aka sexy time, all right? When you got the TV on, or you're dragging your laptop in there, or you're working from your phone, now you've also brought in these disruptive items to your sleep sanctuary. Now, trust me when I say I know the no TV thing is a challenge for a lot of people. Y'all, I have not had a TV in my room for, I don't know, how long have I been divorced? Almost 10 years, okay? I have not had a TV in my room for 10 years, and maybe even longer than that. I believe at the tail end of my marriage, we did not have a TV in our room for quite some time. So, not had a TV in my room, all right? You should not be sleeping with the TV on, okay? This is not how we go to sleep. Think about those sleep cycles. When you're in stage 1 and you're in that weird, I'm not asleep, I'm not quite awake, and you have the TV on, right? And let's say the late night news is on and they're talking about all the bullshit that's going on in the world. Your brain, you may think that, oh, I'm not listening to that. I'm just listening to background noise. Bitch, you think your brain ain't working? Come on, yo. It's fucking working. And then what happens is you're going to move into stage 2, where your body starts to go into fucking coma mode, but your brain is still going. And then you move into stage 3, you get into that slow wave deep sleep to then catapult you into REM. Guess what the fuck you're going to be dreaming about? Okay. All the dumb shit that's going on TV, and your brain is probably going to create some other weird nightmare on Diane Street in your brain while you're trying to sleep and you think the TV is doing you a service. It's not. I'm going to give you some other things that will help you so I can get you off of the TV during your sleep time or when you're trying to go to sleep. Okay. The other reason why I'm so anti-TV, which it's not just me, because Sean Stevenson be saying it too, okay? And listen, I high-fived him, even though we don't know each other. I was high-fiving him as I was listening to that shit on Audible. But the other reason why is because you want your room to be dark, okay? Dark room. Blackout curtains are great. If you have the TV on, your eyelids are very, very thin. They're paper thin. And your eyeballs are going to be searching for that light through your eyelids with the TV on. And that is going to cause your brain to be in somewhat of a awake state. So that is also another reason why TV off when it's time to go to sleep. Okay. Now back to the dark room. I love blackout curtains. Blackout curtains, you have so many different variations of that, but creating your room as a very, very dark cave is going to be incredibly helpful for you getting into a nice, deep, solid, restorative sleep. Okay. So that is another tip. A dark room. And also, temperature is incredibly important. Now, according to the book, I believe he has in there 68 to 72 degrees. Now, mine is going to be set to 68 all year round. Winter, summer, spring, fall, it is always at 68. That is my sleep temperature for my room and honestly the whole fucking house. But a cool 68 degrees. I want to be snug as a bug in a rug in a dark room with no TV and a nice copious amount of pillows and blankets in my sweet little sleep pillow fortress, as my son calls it. Okay. So a cool 68 degrees, because that is going to be a great temperature for you to get a good quality sleep, provided that you have the appropriate blankets and clothing on to keep your body at a nice temperature. Next, we have sound. What are you doing for sound? Now, quiet is great. Quiet is very, very helpful when it comes to sleeping, but I know some people that is way too quiet. They can't handle the quiet. Now, the happy medium there is finding a sleep app or a white noise app. I like a noisy fan, something that you can listen to that is not going to create any kind of extra light in the room, okay, aka TV. And preferably something that is relaxing that doesn't have any words, okay? It's just sounds. You can find this on Spotify. You can create or you can download so many different types of white noise apps. I just go to Spotify and I listen to either ocean sounds or white noise. It just depends on my mood for the night, okay? So either one of those two are great. Again, music is similar to TV in that even though you're asleep, your brain is still functioning and able to understand the input that's coming in through your ears. So with music and lyrics and things like that, it starts to create a possibility for some other awakening possibilities. So cut out the sound with no music, just sound. Give it a try. There's so many different variations. There's raindrops, there's ocean waves. Have fun with it. Play around with it, but just know that either Spotify, Apple Music, you can even find something on, I believe, the podcast apps as well. So check that out. Now, if you're wondering why you need to make the room as dark as possible, it's because with that, it's going to help increase melatonin production. And melatonin is going to help you get sleepy. Now, melatonin is a hormone, which a lot of people don't know because you can buy it over the counter, but it is primarily responsible for regulating our circadian rhythm or your internal clock that I talked about earlier that helps us know when it's time to sleep. Something else that helps with this is also getting outside and getting natural sunlight, in your eyes. Don't look directly at the sun, but having some natural sunlight also helps balance out the melatonin production that will also help with the circadian rhythm and help you get into a deeper sleep, which a lot of people aren't aware of. Now, when it comes to daylight and sunlight and the importance of getting some exposure to sun This was something I learned by listening to the Huberman Lab podcast, which we will also link up in the show notes for you. And it's going to be in your little sheet that you can print out, the cheat sheet that I have for you. But the Huberman Lab podcast was one that I listened to. He has a very robust podcast on sleep. I believe it's like almost 2 hours long, but he does talk about the importance of getting some sunlight in your eyes. So that is also another key to getting some deep quality sleep. And we're also going to talk about why not to take melatonin. And I know you may be thinking that is all you've heard about as far as what you should do to get better sleep, but we're going to talk about why not to take melatonin when I go over the supplements as a addition to helping you get better sleep. Okay. The next tip I have for you is limiting your screen exposure. So minimizing exposure to digital screens before bedtime is going to help reduce the impact of blue light on your sleep and getting into that deep sleep. So couple tips I have for you is getting off of your electronics, your laptops, your iPads, honestly, even TV, and your cell phones 1 hour before bedtime. Now, if you're like, yeah, bitch, there's no way that's fucking happening. One suggestion I have and something that I use often are blue light blocking glasses. My favorite happens to be Diff Eyewear, which I will also have in your little cheat sheet. They have some really cute, stylish light blocking glasses that I absolutely love. They usually have some really great sales too. Sadly, I don't have a promo code, but I will link that up in the PDF download so you can check out their site, get yourself some really cute light blocking glasses, wear them during the day, honestly, when you're working on computer/laptop and when you're on your cell phone. Incredibly helpful to help with getting a deeper sleep. Okay, next is going to be mindful nutrition. What does that mean, you ask? Well, you have to be mindful of your pre-sleep meals and avoiding heavy or caffeine-laden foods and drinks. So some things that people don't think about, and I know this because your girl's been personal training for quite some time, and there's been lots of times, I'm there training clients at 5, 6, 7 a.m., and they're talking about how they didn't sleep well, or people cancel their sessions because they didn't get much sleep. And I usually ask a lot of questions about the previous day. I'm going to ask you, when did you take your pre-workout? Are you drinking energy drinks? Did you have caffeine? So these items, pre-workouts, energy drinks, caffeine, any kinds of green tea, anything with caffeine can heavily impact your quality of sleep. Now, I know for myself that I personally cannot have caffeine after 1 p.m. My daughter used to laugh. You can talk to Coach Ish about this, but I used to always tell her and harp on my kids always, you're not going to sleep well. You're not going to sleep well. And now she knows, if she has caffeine after a certain point, she's going to be screwed. So the reason for this is caffeine has a reuptake time, which is also known as a half-life of caffeine. And that just means it's the amount of time it takes for your body to eliminate half of the caffeine that you've consumed. Okay. So if you drink, let's say, coffee, right? You can bet that there is going to be a half-life of that. A rule of thumb is about 6 hours prior to your bedtime. Now, if you are a nighttime worker outer, right? You train in the PM and you're like, there's no way I can train without something in my system. Well, I'm going to encourage you to get a non-stim pre-workout. Okay. Now I have some resources for that. I'm going to link up a couple of my favorite non-stim pre-workouts for you to check out. Of course, I have a promo code for those, but I will link them up in your freebie download and you could check that out. And you can take this non-stim pre-workout. It's going to help with some nootropics in there. So that's going to help with like focus and energy and just really being present in your workout and give you a little bit of zest without that jittery, anxious feeling that a lot of people get with pre-workouts, energy drinks, caffeine, those types of things. So a non-stim pre-workout is going to be the way to go. You also do not want to eat a huge, heavy meal right before bed. Give yourself about an hour to digest, 30 minutes minimum, okay? But an hour is great because your body, when you go to sleep, is going to be focused on digestion, right? It's going to divert its energy and focus on digestion, and that's going to disrupt your sleep. It's going to disrupt your sleep cycles. So it's super important that you aren't going to bed on a overly full and very full stomach. Another one too is not drinking too much liquid before bed. So that way you aren't getting up to go to the bathroom multiple times per night. Now, I still struggle with this one because I like to consume a lot of fluid and a lot of water, right? By way of water and seltzer waters and things like that. So ideally before bed, again, 30 to 45 minutes before bed, you're not drinking any water. That's going to help minimize your waking up to use a restroom time. Then we have strategic exercise. So, of course, exercise is going to help you sleep better. I'll never forget one of my clients, this is probably a couple years ago, her biggest struggle was sleep, right? She came to me sleeping an average of 3 to 4 hours per night. And this is something that every week when she checked in, I was diligent about offering some kind of strategy, resource, tool, supplement, something to get this woman to sleep more. Now, when she came to me, she wasn't doing a whole lot of weight training. She was doing some classes occasionally, but she was mainly into cardio. She was mainly into running, and she did a lot of like those mud runs and races and things of that nature, but she wasn't doing a whole lot of resistance training. And one thing that we did, along with the other tricks of the trade, was got her into the gym lifting 3 times per week. And a combination of her strength training and also all of the little tips and tricks was profound. All right. By the time we finished working together, she was sleeping 6 to 8 hours per night, and her training had increased significantly in terms of how much she was lifting and her strength in the gym, and not to mention the shape of her body had changed finally, because we had not only improved the variables for her to recover better, right? By getting better sleep, she was also improving her hormones as well. So it's, when I say that sleep has to be the foundation to build your house on, I'm not fucking kidding. Like, it has to be dialed in. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, and you're not going to be perfect all the time, much like everything else in this health and fitness journey. But if you can start creating some consistent habits around your sleep, girl, you are going to just love me and kiss me on the forehead. I will wait. Okay. Next, having a wind down routine. Now, I have 2 little baby girl granddaughters, okay? 4-year-old and an almost 2-year-old. We have a nighttime routine. If you have children, or if you have grandchildren, you know that the routine for them to go to bed is incredibly important for them to wake up and not be assholes in the morning. Okay. Listen, we're just big baby kids. So if you are not creating yourself a relaxation and wind down routine, guess who's going to be an asshole in the morning? You, and probably your kids too. Okay. So create your own relaxation wind down routine. Listen, I know this might sound like one more thing, but this is one of my favorite things, okay? I love this. I take this as like my self-care, just one more thing, and I like to make it luxurious. Now, you can let that mean whatever you want it to be. It could be as simple as you light a candle or whatever, but for me, I don't get to do this every single night, but I will do this at least 3 nights out of the week, which is a nice long Epsom salt bath. Now, my favorite Epsom salts are from EP Solutions, which I will also link in the PDF download, because their Epsom salt is next level. Okay. It's not just like the cheapy stuff you buy at Walgreens or CVS or drugstore, whatever, Target. They have crafted some incredible Epsom salt. It's magical. Okay, so I'll link that up in the PDF download. And then taking it to the next level, a candle. I always like to take a beverage with me into my tub, right? So it'll be some kind of sparkling water. Sometimes if it's really, really cold out, even though I'm taking a hot bath, I will brew some lavender tea or some chamomile tea, something that's going to help me kind of get into that sleepy relaxation mode. And then I like to play me some music. So my favorite is going to be lo-fi beats. You're welcome. Okay. Lo-fi, Lo-fi beats, just some really nice, chill, relaxing music, and download your brain into relaxation mode. Okay. Great for kind of winding you down, telling your body and your brain, it's almost time for Mimi's, bitch. Next, we have stress management. Now, if you're telling me, listen, I can't do all this shit, don't work because I'm stressed the fuck out. And as soon as my head hits the pillow, boss bitch, all I'm thinking about is all the shit that is stressing me out. I know it's fucking shitty how that happens, right? I know it happens to me too. However, this has gotten a lot better for me. And two ways that it has is using some stress reduction tools, okay? Something like a meditation app, which there are many out there, but one that I like it's called breath work because it's very, very simple. And meditation is something that I struggle with. So Headspace is another one. And then last but not least, my favorite stress management tool is journaling. Okay. Journaling. And I'm going to talk to you about the full focus journal. So that'll also be in the download, in the freebie download. So an app for some kind of stress reduction practice. Maybe it's like some gentle yoga. Maybe it's the breathwork app, Headspace. And there's also one called Insight Timer. And that has a ton of different relaxation, meditative, stress reduction types of tracks, downloads and things like that for you to have as a resource at your fingertips. However, the journaling is where it's at. This is where if you struggle with falling asleep, sometimes journaling before bed is going to be your best answer because you can let your brain take a dump on a piece of paper about everything that is possibly stressing you out. Because guess what? You can put it there, and when you wake up, it'll be there for you to pick back up. Okay. It's not going anywhere. The stress, if you can just put it on a piece of paper and tell your brain, okay, I know when we go Mimi's, you like to think about all the things that I need to do that are stressing me out, the people that are stressing me out. I know that's what you want to do. You like that shit, brain. But we're going to just park it right here on this piece of paper. And should you decide you want to continue to ruminate on that tomorrow when we wake up boo-boo rested, I can handle this shit. But right now, bitch, let's put it on some paper. And it is magical, okay? So that is going to be some of your stress management techniques. Okay, next is another one that's not most people's favorite, which is avoiding alcohol before bed. I know a lot of you think that your glass of wine or your cocktail is what helps you go to sleep. And why that might make you sleepy, this is not producing good quality sleep. In fact, it disrupts your quality of sleep. So avoiding excessive alcohol is going to be key for you to get nice deep sleep. I mean, think about how many times you have had way too much to drink, or, maybe even one or two glasses of wine or, some alcoholic beverage. How great do you feel the next day? You generally don't, right? Because alcohol is a depressant as well as a disruptor to your quality of sleep. So I know it's a challenge, and I know that there are some occasions that call for alcohol, but just make sure that you have hydrated well through the day. I always use the alcohol H2O sandwich, which is for every alcoholic beverage that you have, you sandwich with that with a glass of water to maintain your hydration. This also helps with sort of diluting so it's not as impactful to your sleep. But then you're going to pee all night. You're going to go pee all night. So you got to figure out, pick the best, pick your poison. Okay. Next, we have napping. And I know that a lot of us maybe don't have the luxury of being able to nap, but if you do, I'm going to give you some tips on how to nap wisely, okay? You're going to want to keep your daytime naps very, very short. So long naps are most definitely going to disrupt your nighttime sleep. I know for a fact that I cannot nap after 2 p.m. If I'm napping after 2, I'm going to be up much later. And then this will create a non-ideal, an unideal new sleep cycle that you're going to have to readjust to, and it will kind of screw you up for a minute. So power naps are great. I love myself a power nap, especially if you are an early riser and you have the ability to get in a power nap. If you're up, 3:30, 4:30, something god awful like that to work or train or whatever, and you have the ability to nap 20 to 30 minutes. Okay. This can be incredibly effective for boosting your energy, improving your mood, and also improving and enhancing your brain power, your cognitive function. So if you notice through the day, you're like, man, I'm sleepy, you're reaching for more caffeine, you want more snacks. That's your body's way of telling you, bitch, go take a fucking nap. Okay, quit grabbing snacks, quit grabbing coffee. Go lock yourself in your car if you're at work on a lunch break or a 15-minute break. Put the seat back, put on, some lo-fi beats or some white noise, set a timer for 30 minutes. Even, 15, 20 minutes can be incredibly useful. Put your phone on do not disturb. If you have one of those eye masks, even better. But power naps are the key, okay? If you go beyond that 30 minutes, this is going to tap into some longer napping that can fuck up your sleep. Okay. So the short naps are going to be less likely to interfere with your bedtime sleep, but long naps, girl, watch out there, because those long naps, especially if you're going an hour to an hour and a half, can make you feel worse. Have you ever had that happen where you go take a nap and you're like, I feel worse? It's because you slept too long. And then what happens is you get into a different sleep cycle. So if you can adjust that to a shorter nap, you won't get into that next sleep cycle that's going to have you waking up feeling disoriented and groggy. And you're like, what the fuck day is it? What planet am I on? Okay. Avoid those long naps, but you have to set a timer. So the best time of day for napping is going to be early afternoon. Again, like I said, I know I can't sleep or take a nap past 2, but typically between 1 and 3 is going to be your best bet. Again, depending on what time you woke up and what time you go to bed, but this is best to align with your body's natural circadian rhythm. So this will make it easier for you to fall asleep, and you won't have struggles with, going sleep at nighttime if your naps are shorter. Okay, so that is a very long, exhaustive list with some helpful tools and tips there, but I want to talk to you now about supplements. Now, I saved this for last because I know most people want to jump to this, right? Like, give me the pill, tell me the thing, give me the magic thing that's going to expedite the thing. But again, I want you to set your foundation up right before you go and throw supplements at it, because much like your weight loss journey, if you are not doing the exercise, if you are not eating the food, the proper foods, the whole foods, the calorie deficit and all those things, and then you just think you can take a fat burner or steroids and get your results, you're screwed. Okay. Because that's not how it works. So the supplements I'm about to share with you will be incredibly helpful, but I want you to set that foundation in the tips that I talked about previously. Okay. So let's go down the list of some supplements, and I will link these all up in that PDF download. Okay. We have magnesium. Magnesium is great for helping you feel calm and relaxing, and it's going to calm the central nervous system. So most people are like, okay, what kind of magnesium? You're going to want to look for magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate, and that's going to help you sleep more soundly. Now, I will say, just as a side note, magnesium citrate also does help with going to the bathroom. So if you struggle with constipation or you don't go frequently, mag citrate will help with that. So also proceed with caution, okay? Because if you do purchase some magnesium citrate and you start with a full dose on the bottle, you might have some loose stool situation. So just proceed with caution, like I said. Okay, number 2 is going to be valerian root. Now, valerian root is an herbal supplement, but it has been used for centuries, okay? Long time. It's been around for a very long time as a natural remedy for insomnia as well as anxiety. So if you have either one of those, this is also a great supplement for that. But it has also shown to improve the quality of your sleep. And also, it helps reduce the time that it takes to fall asleep, which if you are someone who suffers from insomnia or anxiety because of, things that you're thinking about, 1, go fucking journal. And then 2, take some valerian root because that'll help you fall asleep faster. Next, we have L-theanine. Now, L-theanine is an amino acid, and you can find it in tea leaves, particularly green tea, but you have to be careful because green tea does have some natural caffeine in it. Now, L-theanine does not, so it's known for its calming effects and can help, again, reduce anxiety, and it promotes relaxation, and again, can potentially help you get a better night's sleep. Now, let's talk about melatonin. I do have melatonin on here, but I have it as one that I want you to avoid, okay? Because melatonin is a hormone, like we talked about earlier, that regulates the sleep and wake cycle. So the reason why I say avoid it is because you can start to build a tolerance, a dependence for melatonin. And if you use it for long term, if you're using melatonin quite frequently, your body can start to rely on that, and you don't want that. So you want to just use some supplements that will aid but not be habit forming or addictive. And melatonin tends to have that dependency to it, okay? And then what happens is that you need more to achieve the same amount of results, which I don't like that. I don't like that with any supplements, especially anything that's going to mess with your sleep. Now, the other reason why I'm not a big fan of melatonin is because, like I mentioned a second ago, it does disrupt your natural production of melatonin. Okay, melatonin is a hormone that is produced by naturally by your pineal gland in response to darkness and low light levels. Hence why a dark room is the way to go for a better night's sleep. So when you're taking that melatonin, it's going to disrupt your body's natural production. We don't want that. And it can lead to decreased natural melatonin production. So we don't want to fuck with that shit, okay? The other thing I wanted to also just side note, and this is just anecdotally from my experience, I have some wicked side effects with melatonin. So I get headaches. I have some terrifying dreams, and it does make me feel sleepy the next day. So not worth it. And again, it just depends. Everybody's a little bit different. It depends on how you metabolize it and all those fun things. Now, the other issues with melatonin is it can't interact with certain medications. So if you're on any blood thinners, anticoagulants, immunosuppressants, it can interact with those types of medications. So definitely another reason to not use melatonin. So all in all, not a huge fan of melatonin. If you use it and it works for you, great. But again, just the more and more that I read about it, I'm just not a fan. And personally, I'm not a fan for it myself. So I usually tell my clients to avoid it altogether. Now, another supplement, a lot of my clients, I have them using, especially my prep clients, is 5-HTP, which is just short for 5-hydroxytryptophan. Now, it is a precursor to serotonin. So it is a neurotransmitter that plays a role in mood and sleep. And it has been shown, again, to improve your mood, sleep quality. And I also have seen that it helps with cravings. Okay, so 5-HTP is another great one, non-addictive. Then we have GABA. GABA is a inhibitory neurotransmitter that can have a calming effect on the brain. So it is a great supplement as well to help with relaxation and promoting sleep. Now we're going to move into some other items. Okay. They can also be supplemented. They can be done by way of tinctures or teas. So we have chamomile. Obviously, you've heard of this one. It's been around forever. Okay. Chamomile is an herbal remedy. It can be used as a tea. A lot of sleep products also are now using the chamomile herb as well. It has a mild sedative properties to it. So it's not going to knock you out like with one tea bag, but it is definitely going to get you in that nice, calm mood. Again, this is one that I like to sip on when I am taking a bath and just kind of getting into that mode. Then we also have passion flower, another herbal remedy, again, sometimes used for some sleep disorders. There is also tryptophan, which is an amino acid. It's found in some foods, like I'm sure you've heard of this, like around Thanksgiving. It's found in turkey, but it also can be used to improve your sleep. Now we're going to move into some other fun things, and these are some things that I use pretty regularly: CBD and CBN. Now these are two like buzzwords these days because they're in a lot of products, but you want to make sure you have good quality CBN and CBD. Now, CBD and CBN are two important cannabinoids found in the hemp plant, aka the wacky weed, the devil's lettuce. But they have calming properties and present with similar responses in the brain. However, they diverge in their overall physiological effects in the body. So while CBD is commonly recommended for general aches and pains and mood regulation, that's one that you've probably heard about more often is CBD. CBN is widely used for its sedating effects. Okay. So kind of like a weighted blanket. Okay. So CBD, CBN is going to be the one you're really looking for when it comes to assisting in sleeping. Now, some products that I've been using, which are amazing, and you guys know I've been talking about Cured Nutrition a lot because now they are an amazing podcast sponsor because I've been fucking obsessed with their products, mainly their sleep products, which is their sleep bundle. And there's a couple different options there, but I'm going to talk about there are three supplements that are great for sleep. The first one is going to be Zen, which has valerian root, which we talked about, also has passion flower, which we talked about, chamomile, you got it, which we talked about, and ashwagandha, but it also has magnesium and it has CBD as well. So that Zen capsule from Cured Nutrition is going to be a great one. The next one is going to be a CBN capsule, and they have a nightcap, which cute, right? That is very punny. It is a nightcap. Get it? That one has full spectrum hemp extract, and it also has a combo of CBD and CBN, great for that relaxation, nice deep sleep. Now, they also have a CBN night oil, which I would say choose either or. You don't need to do both. The CBN night oil is, again, another full spectrum hemp extract with CBD and CBN, but it is a tincture. So you can put it under your tongue and it just has a little dropper, and that one is great. Okay. It doesn't taste terrible, and it works pretty quickly because it is absorbed under the tongue. So you just put it sublingual, you let it sit there for, I usually do like 15 to 30 seconds, I swallow it down, and then it helps you get into that nice deep sleep. So the thing is like some people can't fall asleep and some people can't stay asleep, and some struggle with both. So one thing you'll need to think about is, where are you struggling and what can you add in to assist in those areas? But no matter, essentially what you're struggling with, whether that's falling asleep or staying asleep, that sleep bundle is a great option because it's going to help you with both of those. And it's going to help you get some true rest and restoration and relaxation and honestly recovery, which is what I want for you. Okay. recovery is where it's at for you to get results. And if you're not sleeping well, that is going to be a problem. So again, we'll link this all up, but Cured Nutrition /Boss Bitch is going to be the link. And if you use code Boss Bitch, it's going to get you 20% off today, friend. So that's also a great perk for you to grab that sleep bundle. So the last but not least is seeking professional help. I don't want to minimize the seriousness that is sleep deprivation because it's seriously a thing. And if you have tried all these things consistently, you've done all the things, I highly suggest you get into your doctor and see if you can have a sleep study done or, visit a sleep specialist to find out the root cause of what is happening with your sleep because it affects your quality of life. I can't want more for you than I want you to sleep well, hence why this podcast is so long today. So things real quick to recap, what not to do. We talked about what to do. I'm just going to, again, remind you, avoid late night stimulants, caffeine, heavy meals. Limit your screen time. Reduce that screen exposure. Again, no TVs in the bedroom. Get yourself some of those cute, sassy glasses that I'm going to link up in the PDF download diff. They're so super cute. Wear those. They're not only a fashion statement, but they're helping you get better sleep, bitches. Okay. Don't overdo alcohol. Number 3, excessive alcohol consumption. Okay. It's going to disrupt that sleep pattern. Number 4, don't work out super late at night and hit that pre-workout, okay? That is going to disrupt your sleep. If you work out too late, it is going to kind of give you this energy jolt and you're going to have a hard time falling asleep. The next one is staying consistent. So don't drastically alter that sleep schedule. Stay consistent with that. Use the tools that I have for you to start getting into a better, consistent routine with your sleep. And then last but not least is not neglecting your sleep environment. So getting that room set up so it's conducive for you to have a great night's sleep. Okay. Noise, light, sound, all of that. Get the download. It's going to be a PDF with all those resources, and we'll link that up in the show notes for you so you can have that and it'll point you in the direction for everything that we talked about today. And last but not least, can I ask you for a favor, my friend? Besides downloading that freebie guide, can you just share this episode with a friend if you found it useful? I'm assuming if you've listened this far, you've found it useful. The last task I have for you is to share it with a friend who maybe struggles with sleep, or you want them to sleep better, or you want your partner to take the TV out of the bedroom. Share it with your partner. And then let me know how all that goes. Let me know how you're sleeping. All right, y'all. Have a great night. Get some rest. Get some sleep. Wake up a badass bitch.